see. Brianna, how are you? Good.
Hi.
Did you ride your bike today?
No.
It's a little chilly, huh? Sure, let's see. 15. Johnson. Here. Messed this up when we took off a week here. Let's see. Okay, Colin's not going to be here, but he's going to be zooming in. So let's see. That means I had.
How are you doing?
Okay, so I need to switch this one. Oh yeah, because you were gone that week when you had your. Okay, so would you say the opening prayer tonight? Sure. I'll switch you down here. And also Reeser, would you lead us in the pledge? Please?
Sure.
Thank you. All right. Hi, Alicia. How are you? Good. Okay, then hopefully next week we'll be back on schedule. Okay. I think you did it last week, or maybe not. I don't know. I'm mixed up on my time here. But
Doesn't matter, I'm happy to.
yeah, I was gonna say Colin's not here, so we'll have to have you go
Colin's
again.
Can do.
Colin will be
Eric's gone
online.
too.
What's that?
Eric's gone as well.
Yeah, Eric's gone.
Today?
Yeah, Colin will be online, I believe. He might already be there. Colin, are you online? Not yet, maybe. All right.
Did you guys get an invite from the Department of the Interior?
About
The 50th day?
it's the groundbreaking of, not the groundbreaking, the ribbon cutting.
Okay.
The observation.
Yep.
On Tuesday.
Okay.
When did you get that?
Just barely.
Just barely.
Oh,
Just got that today.
Oh, you did. Oh, really? Okay.
And then I see Garrett graduation is
Yeah, that's on city
on the
council
night that we
night.
have a council. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they scheduled it that
That's too
night.
bad.
I'm gonna have to, because every other time they've had it on like a Thursday night.
Yeah, I was gonna go last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I am in the right spots.
Welcome. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you. Go on. You guys. Oh, yes. So Emma's eyes are good. So I was just creating an extra amount of fluid that was in the brain and the spinal column. They can take care of medication, so she's in a good spot. They think that will with her mission call probably be in the United States. Oh, good. Other than that, yeah.
Hey, how are you?
Cold, but
Oh.
good.
I'm doing it.
What a day, man. It's like craziness. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Nice to see you. Hey, Bill, how you doing? Good. Doing all right? Didn't mean to scoop you. I went off. Go down to the other end. Say hi.
No, that can only wait 30 days to take medicine. Well, actually, we're gonna do Idle Falls because it's Rexburg.
He's not, oh, well, technically he is.
It's my wife's birthday that same day, so.
Need some music or something. Come on.
Yeah, we need some walk-up music, huh? Well, I think we're there, so let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, those of you that are here. We appreciate your attendance here. This is the Rexburg City Council meeting of April 15th, 2026. And we'd like to start out this evening with an opening prayer. I've asked Councilmember Johnson to offer the opening prayer for us, after which I've asked Councilmember Reeser to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, so Councilmember Johnson.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for this day and the chance that we have to be here. We're thankful for the moisture that we've been getting, and we're thankful for the members of our community. And we ask you to please be with us and help us to make sound decisions. And please help us to have peace and prosperity in our city and in our country. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead with our roll call of our council members. Mariana, please.
Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Tejan.
Here.
Councilmember Colin Erickson.
Give him one quick second.
Okay.
They're making the
Councilmember Reeser.
Here.
Councilmember Riggins.
Here.
Okay, Council President Erickson asked to be excused. He is traveling today. We will we'll hear from Councilmember Colin Erickson here in probably just a minute. He was going to try to zoom in. So
I'm here now.
You're here? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate your effort to be online with us tonight. All right, let's go ahead and start with item number 3, which is a public hearing right off the bat. We're going to review the Idaho Community Development Block Grant in the amount of $500,000 from the Idaho Department of Commerce for the Altura Business Center. Tacey, did you have some information for us on that? Okay, go ahead.
So I'll just
Maybe just
give some,
introduce yourself.
yeah, Tacey Stoddard with Altura Community Consulting, and I'm here just to present the information for the public hearing, and then you guys can see if there's any public comment. This is for the Altura Business Innovation Center that's on East 4th North. That's been being constructed. I just need to go over a few things. That the amount of we have to do this public hearing as a requirement for the block grant, the Idaho Department of Commerce Development Block Grant. It's a requirement to have a second public hearing when it gets to be about 50 to 75% done. The amount of this block grant was $500,000. That was a block grant sponsored by the city, and Altura was the subrecipient. As far as the work on the project, we need to present that. The architectural design work, of course, was completed, and construction of the Business Innovation Center itself is about 75% complete. The remaining interior and exterior construction will be completed by July 1st. And then there was no substantial changes made in the project scope, and the project is on schedule and in budget, which is great. So,
Yeah, that is great.
a little bit of a budget review. The total project budget was $6.5 million. Which consisted of the $500,000 block grant from the Department of Commerce, and then approximately $1.2 million from a Rural Development RISE grant, and then an EDA grant of $3.9 million, and then as well as Altura cash and land totaling about $800,000. And the project funds are all being used for just design and to go into the design and construction. Substantial completion, we believe, will be by July 1st of 2026, with final completion July 31st, 2026. And we'll do the block grant closeout documents, hopefully will be completed by September 30th, 2026. And then all residents, this will benefit all the city residents of the city of Rexburg, including any low to moderate income residents. And that's all for my part, unless you guys have any questions about.
Yeah, I would just add, thank you, Tacey, we appreciate that. I sit on the Altura board, and last board meeting, we toured the building, and it's looking really good. If you don't know where it is, it's over by the river next to their business center over there, and it'll be an extension of what they already do there, which is providing a place for new businesses to be able to start up and get mentorship and things like that, and it's kind of a lower cost place for businesses to be able to start and give them a chance to get going, and then once they do get going, after a certain amount of time, they're expected to move out into the community, into some market rate office space, which several of them have. Several of them have moved into the new office complex down there by the Thornton exit, and then a few others have moved into different spaces here in town. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of space here in town for them to move into, but we're working on that with our downtown development projects. That's one of the things we're trying to provide, is some more space for these businesses to be able to move into in our downtown area. So that's one of the things we're
And
working
this one
on.
will be full pretty much as soon as
Yeah, as
it's
soon as
ready.
it gets finished, there's so much interest, it'll already be pretty much all rented out. So it's really, it's providing a good service to the community. But is there any questions from any of you about this, anything about it at all? If not, then we need to go ahead and just do this public hearing, which basically gives community members a chance to weigh in on this, if they've got any, if they'd like to talk positively about it, or neutral, or negatively about it, or in opposition to it, I should say. And so at this time, we will go ahead and open this public hearing. I declare this public hearing open. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this project? If so, go ahead and come up to the microphone and state your name and address. Is there anyone who would like to do so? Is there anyone online that we know of that has raised their hand to speak? Hearing none, is there anyone who'd like to speak in the neutral position on this particular item? If not, is there anyone who'd like to speak in opposition to this particular item? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and declare this public hearing closed. And at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve this community development block grant from the Idaho Department of Commerce. Is there such a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve this block grant as has been stated.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second to that motion? Second by Councilmember Riggins. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion passes. So thank you, Tacey. We appreciate your work on that and keeping us updated on how things are going. Also, I was just going to say, if any of you would be interested in touring the building, I'm sure Tacey or any of the people over there, yeah, just contact them over there at Altura and they'd take you through, and it's pretty interesting to see. Yes, questions?
Could we do it on our drive around, or do we already have that?
You know what?
pre-scheduled?
That might be a possibility. Let's add that to our list. I'll just make a note of that here. That would, let's see, what day did we do that? April 20,
From Friday.
last Friday of April?
24th, I think it is.
28th.
28th.
Whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna do our council drive around where we drive around the city and look at things that need attention, so that might be a 28th.
24th.
No, 24th is,
Deb says 24th.
is it? Oh, I thought that was.
Yeah, it's on the 24th.
Isn't that the Arbor Day thing? Are we doing that the same day? Oh yeah, that's right, okay.
That's
Yeah,
on Friday.
I've had that on my brain, so we're doing that later in the afternoon, and the council drive around will be over by then, so that'll work.
Do you want to let Ricker know a time, like around when you might be there?
Yeah,
One of us would love to give.
okay, all right, I'll make a mention of that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Building, drive around, okay. Okay, we'll make a note of that. Yeah, that's right. At the end of the council drive around, we'll just drop you off over at the Donjo so you can dig holes for the trees with us. That'll be fun. Okay, so wear your work clothes. Okay, all right. Item number 4 on the agenda is our public comment time. That is for anyone who would like to make us aware of anything that is not on the agenda tonight, or any items of concern or interest. If there is anyone who'd like to do so, please come to the microphone at this time. State your name and address, and we ask you to hold the comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone who'd like to do so? All right, seeing none, we will move on to item number 5, which is our committee reports from the council. So, council member, let's go ahead and start down here with Council Member Johnson, and we'll go ahead with the reports.
Thanks, Mayor. I just have a couple things to report. I know I spoke with John. He said that there's going to be
The new ice rink manager will start next week. So that's pretty good. I'm sure we'll be meeting him soon, right, in a council meeting. Idaho Falls, if I'm understanding it right, there's a Learn to Skate, right, a business in Idaho Falls that's going to come use our ice to give some lessons on. So I think that will be pretty good.
Yeah.
The pickleball court poles turned up, right, that were missing
Oh,
or
did they?
stolen.
I hadn't
John
heard
said that
'cause
they,
I was-
some of them turned up and were not damaged, so they're going to be able to get those nets back up.
Oh, good.
So that's pretty much all I have.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Councilmember Tejan.
The grants committee met the end of the month, and Mary is working on a lot of different grants that are going to help us with our roads and the America 250 and different things. She does a really great job. The Mayor's Youth Association, we visited the fire station last week, and we are going to be visiting the animal shelter this next week, and we go and we learn about how things are operating there and how the city operates within those. It's been a really good turnout, and the kids were really excited about that. The ADA board, we're still looking for a few more members so that we can be able to start to meet again. We need to have a little bit bigger of a quorum. So if anybody is interested in that, I'm putting that out in the airwaves. Please contact us and let us know. The Historical Preservation Commission met last week, and they're busy trying to come up with ways to help get the community involved in historical preservation by just like wanting to do like a survey or something to find out what people want with historical preservation so that they can report back to council. They're also willing to help with the America 250 project if we want to do the contest that we talked about, the art contest. They're willing to help out with that, and so if we want to move ahead with that, I just need to know. So.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll just make a note here real quick. Yes. Okay. All right, let's move on down here to Councilmember Reeser.
Yeah, the Legacy Flight Museum, we haven't met in a while, but we are meeting next on May the 9th, and I'm looking forward to that. And it was fun also a couple of weeks ago when you were gone, Mayor. I was able to meet with the Mayor's Youth Advisory. We got to do a mock city council meeting in here too with Councilwoman Tejan, so that was a lot of fun. Some of those kids were my students and others from the high school, so had a good time with that.
Yeah, they come up with anything we need to work on?
Oh, what did we work on?
I think they want to institute a curfew or no curfew.
Yeah, we talked about a curfew. I think that did that go down in flames? I think that
went down in flames.
Yeah, and then what was the other thing?
Is that a curfew for adults or kids?
Kids.
Kids.
Oh,
it was
a silly one. What
It was
the
a silly one. I can't remember.
I
It was
can't
it
remember
was
what
so
it was.
outrageous that we can't remember.
I can't remember what it was, but it passed
That's
probably
flag
unanimously.
colors,
Yes,
The more
yes.
silly it was. So
Oh, it was sneezing.
that's what it was.
no
Yeah.
sneezing.
They wanted to make it illegal to sneeze
Illegal to sneeze.
with some pretty hefty fines.
Yeah, it was. So hopefully they learned the process, not necessarily the content.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. I had a good time with that. So
Well, that's good.
But
I
that's
appreciate
everything.
you guys taking care of that and leading the way on that. That's great.
that's everything I've got.
Good group of kids. All right, Councilmember Riggins.
Well, let's see here. We've got urban renewals super busy right now, working on a lot of things. The property should be closing here on on Main Street, and so we've been meeting. In fact, we had a special meeting. They're working on bids for the demolition and especially removal of asbestos. So we had a special meeting on that. We'll meet again this next week, I believe. And then, Mayor, you asked me to work on under beautification for the city. Well, I should have something by the end of the week on this. And what it is Mayor just wondered if we could involve the city on doing red, white, and blue or something for the 250th anniversary of America. Involve the community doing their gardens, their in
Flower beds and stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, we're working on that. Should have something. I'll send it out to you guys as soon as we get it get it settled.
Sounds great.
On that, I saw an idea that somebody said that you could plant trees in honor of the America 250, so maybe we could tie that in with we're doing at Don Joe. That we're planting 25 plus trees or something like that.
And we have a bunch of trees to plant, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got
So-
like 65 or 70.
So,
Yeah, so,
I don't know, maybe we could tie that in with America 250 or something.
yeah.
Okay, awesome. That's it?
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, I just thought, I mentioned to Bill that I thought it would be interesting to maybe encourage members of the community to, you know, to really go heavy on red, white, and blue plantings this year, just for the America 250 celebration. There's also another thing that is on the America 250 website that I think would be fun to encourage, and it's really something that we don't really have to do a lot with. It's just they're talking about a deal. In fact, it's a group out of Utah that kind of came up with it and is sponsoring it. But it's called America's Potluck, and they're encouraging us on July 5th, which is Sunday, to get together with all your neighbors and just have giant potluck dinners and visit, and you know, just kind of encouraging people to get together and become more community oriented and that kind of thing. So that's something else that maybe we'll try to push out a little bit. It's just an informational deal. We wouldn't necessarily try to organize neighborhoods or anything like that, but we just encourage.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it does sound fun, I think. So anyway, yeah, a lot of fun things going on. Okay.
Mayor,
Yes. Oh, Colin, sorry. Yeah, let's get your report.
so the golf board did not meet this time to change meeting until next month. Speaking about the 250 celebration of the United States, that's why I'm not there. I just flew in from New York and couldn't make it back to Rexburg, but so I stopped and was able to zoom in. But they are doing quite a bit back in New York. I got to go through the Intrepid Museum, the aircraft carrier Intrepid, and the submarine, and they're doing kind of a lot of things advertising the 250 celebration of the United States and what the naval and our armed forces did. So I think it'd be good what we can do here in Rexburg. Also, just report not golf, but the school board meets next week, so I'll report that next month. And just to let you know, I was back there in New York with our 7th and 8th grade orchestra. Ariel Loveland's the teacher, and I tell you, they did amazing. They got to play in the Lincoln Center, and you could hear people that go there all the time that was in behind us talk and saying, this is 7th and 8th grade. They were just amazed with our youth of our community and how they played. It was, like I say, it blew me away hearing them play and meet with some of those world-renowned musicians back there and what they did. Great experience. I was a little nervous to being back there with 200 and something 7th and 8th grade in New York, but it all went well and we got them back home safe. So that's good. And then the airport board will report a little bit down on what the airport talked about, their land procurement for the airport. But like I say, I've been very pleased being back there in New York with our youth and what they represented our community and what they did. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Appreciate that report. Something that they do, not every year, but occasionally. I think they've gone back there, and every year it seems like they do. Like you say, they just kind of blow people away with how good they are and how well behaved they are and things. So they're great representatives for us. Appreciate that. Thank you, everyone. I will say, just since you mentioned it, Colin, on the America 250, as I was coming into town this morning, I heard the ad for the 250 celebration, the concert and the drone show and fireworks show, and they did a really good ad on the radio. They made it sound really exciting and wanted me to be there, which I will be. So
Do we know where we're at? Sales?
You know what? I was gonna look that up and I forgot to, but I don't know. Do you? Any of you, Deborah or Scott? Do you know? I'll have to check that and let you know. But I know when we first opened it up, we sold, I think, close to 1,000 tickets the first couple or 3 days. But I don't know where we're at right now. So, okay, all right. Let's move on then to item number let's see, item number 6 is our staff reports, and we'll start with our finance report. Matt Nielsen is out of town on vacation this week, so Scott Miller is going to fill in for him and go over our financial reports for us,
Yeah, let's start.
as well as a couple other items,
first.
budget items.
All right. I don't know if you guys can see that, but the biggest thing I wanted to point out with the cash and investments report for this month is just we are getting down lower than we have been traditionally. So if you scroll down to the bottom there, so our total cash and investment balance there is 46 million 640, and so part of what's contributing to that is we've got a lot of projects that we're doing right now. There's a lot of grants that are going to come back to us, but there's that time in between, and so our cash flow is going down from what it has been traditionally. So I also just wanted to point out that our investment rates have been pretty stable at the high 3s to 4%. Because of where our cash flow is at, we will start to, as our investments do mature, we'll go ahead and put them in money market accounts so that they're a little bit more liquid. We still have some good rates on those money markets. Obviously not as good as the longer term investments, but that'll put us in a good spot until we get those grants and get that cash replenished. So that's where we're at with cash.
Okay. Any questions, anyone on that report, particular one? Okay, thank you.
Okay. I don't have too much to report on the treasurer's monthly report, but overall, we've gone through half the year. The overall spend is only 24.3% of the budget. We do have one fund where we are working to get a budget adjustment prepared. That's Fund 41 for park construction. And really what's contributing to that massive percentage that you can see there is that we had 2 projects that bled over from the previous year. And so one of those was the park shop and the other was pickleball courts. And so a lot of money was spent in this fiscal year where it was anticipated it was going to be in last fiscal year when everything was prepared. So that's, yeah, other than that, not a lot to speak to on this report, but.
Why was the GIS? Did we get new software, or I noticed that was?
I'm not sure why.
Okay.
50%.
Mapping this year, did you pay for that?
I think we did do a new
We did a new map.
new map.
We did a new
Okay.
map? Okay, all right,
Thanks.
thanks.
Okay, is there any other questions on this budget report from anyone? Okay, all right, thank you. Let's go ahead and move on to item number 2 if you're ready for that.
Let's see what's next. We do have the budget adjustment. And we've got
Obviously, I mean, Scott already alluded to it, but, you know, our spend right now is fairly low percentage-wise, but we're just coming into what we call spending season, right? Where we're gonna be spending a lot more money on projects and things, so that percentage will go up a lot higher here in the next few months, next couple of months, so.
All right, so the next item is the joint land ownership, maintenance, and use agreement between us and the county. This is for that school district property that we are purchasing. Bill Briggins alluded to that here a minute ago when we were talking about urban renewal. And of course, urban renewal is a major player in this deal, but there is that northernmost section of the property that's going to be owned jointly by the city and the county. So this is an agreement between the two of us to just dictate how things will work. A couple of points that I wanted to make is that we do have a first right of refusal that's written into this agreement. What that would do is that if it would allow the other party to purchase the other section at basically the historical cost plus an annual 4% increase, so that it can't be. We're not going to land speculate on that. It's going to stay for what it was used for. Let's see. I wanted to bring up the image. Do you want to bring up the? Yeah, that's it. The other element that I just wanted to point out is that within the agreement, we do have a provision. We're not bound by this unless no agreement can be made. But if, however long that things take to happen before we need to use this land for any kind of facility, this is the default that we'd go back to if a better arrangement couldn't be reached. So, and just shows what the county would own, what the city would own, and kind of how that footprint would work. Again, if we're able to come to something better, that will work just fine. This is just kind of that default position that if we really struggle to come up with an agreement, then we have that in place. So.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Any questions from council on this item? Yes, go ahead.
I just had a couple questions.
Okay.
I just wanted to double check since, that's our job to do. The part about the utilities, where it said it would be 50-50 until a good faith agreement was come to. Could you explain that a little better?
Yeah, so what we're talking about there is that in this initial phase where that land just stays as grass, the agreement is dictating that we as the city will basically take care of the maintenance of that, but then that we'll be able to charge the county for half of it. There's also a provision that for any revenue that comes through, that will be split 50-50 as well. So we're just taking care of each other, but the city is going to be the primary point of contact to kind of take care of this ground until such time as something does happen with it. And the facility drawings that we showed there, that's kind of indicative of what that next phase would be. And at that point, there would be a new arrangement made. We wouldn't be treating it like parkland anymore. We'd be treating it as something else.
And if I can add a little bit to that, maybe just I think I know where you're going with that, or maybe I don't. But
I'm just wondering when it would change from being a 50-50 split. Are you saying like if one entity started using more of the utilities?
Yeah.
Because it says 50-50 until a good, or however it's worded, until a good faith agreement. So I was trying to figure out when it would change from 50-50 and why.
Yeah, as long as we're just using it, as long as we're just letting the community use it as a thing of grass like it has been for the last, we'll just split the cost. We probably will need to, we'll need to sever it from the school district, and take it over the utilities, the water and everything. But yeah, then when we get to a point, this is probably down the road, who knows how many years, but get down the road where we decide, if we move ahead with a county city facility there, then if maybe one part of it's going to be bigger than the other person's part, or this agreement is set so that the other party can give the first offer on, like, say for example, we or the county decided we didn't need as much, we didn't need half, we only need a third or whatever, we would have the first right to buy that other part from them, or they would have the first right to buy it from us, and then the utilities would be divided, proportionally as well. So, yeah, but until then, we'll just split it half. And I would like to acknowledge the presence of Commissioner Mendenhall here, and this agreement has been signed by the County Commission by Commissioner Smith from the County Commission, so they are in agreement with this as well. So,
So would this be, you said, is the community going to be able to use this until it
Yeah.
is built on? So
Mhm.
like, would they just rent it out or is it just open
yeah,
space?
it'd be just
What-
like any of our other parks.
Just like
They'll,
it'll
they'll
be a
come in
park.
and ask for permission to use it for, I don't know, whatever, soccer, football practice, whatever kind of things. Maybe somebody wants to do I don't know, a big party or something there, kind of a community party or some kind of a thing, and they could rent it just like they do, some of the shelters in the park or anything like that. So yeah, it'll be available for community use until we get to a point where we want to do something to develop it there, so. Okay, any other questions? Yes. go
Sorry, I had
ahead.
another question. Yeah, and so I had Councilmember Tejan's question was part of mine too. So it's just gonna be like a park for now.
Yeah.
And then is that way, so the city's responsible for accounting and scheduling right now?
Yes.
And so are we anticipating that that's not gonna take very much of our city staff's time then?
I don't think it would take much. I think probably most of the time, people will probably just go over and use it. And we're not really gonna care that much unless somebody has actually reserved it for something. Then we'll have to kinda, make sure that it's reserved. But it would be just like, the shelters or anything else. People can just get online. It really probably can just be done online. They can reserve it and pay their fee.
We talked about that, and John was in that meeting as well, and he had stated, we already have the infrastructure in place to be able to do it. To add one more to do the scheduling, he said he honestly would prefer it and not to be able to utilize it if somebody, because he says there's a number of times where people want to utilize a piece of property or something else, and to be able to say, oh, hey, we have an alternative location that you can use, rather than trying to coordinate through another entity. And so he thought it was best and actually requested that he be able to do that and request those things. And the county was fine with that as well.
Okay, thank you, that helps.
And gatherings would generally go through a public gathering permit, like if it wasn't a recreational type thing, if it was some other party or whatever.
Yeah. Any other questions about it? Okay. All right, do you have another one?
Just a thought. I know we
Okay.
talked about putting the flags that we got for the 250 flags at Porter Park, but we could also potentially put them there if we,
Yeah, we could,
Right,
I mean,
if
it
we
would
needed.
be another spot if we wanted to do it there
Just-
instead.
The timing may not be ideal
timing,
with
yeah.
that, simply because we're going to be in the middle of that asbestos abatement
Okay.
and tear down.
Yeah, that may
Um,
not be the best thing.
Having said that, we
Bunch
can
of
investigate and see if maybe there
Okay.
is a
Yeah, that's true. I didn't
way
think
to
of
do that.
but-
okay,
Yeah.
He gets to play it by ear.
kind of,
Yeah.
we'll just keep it at Porter Park.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, and I think since they're gonna have the big community party over at Porter Park, I think it'd be nicer to have them over there anyway, actually, so.
We could have some downtown.
Yeah, maybe we can just put some more flags downtown too, just for fun. Okay, thank you very much. With that, I would entertain a motion to move ahead with the approval of this joint land agreement. Is there such a motion from anyone?
I'll make that motion. He can make
Oh,
it.
go ahead, Councilmember Erickson.
I'll make that motion that we move ahead with this agreement.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you. That motion passes. And we will go ahead and sign that and move forward. All right, thank you, Commissioner Mendenhall, for being here. We appreciate your attendance. Item number 3, approval of budget adjustment for the Urban Renewal School District property asbestos removal and demolition. So, Scott?
All
tell me about
right,
that.
me again. So let me just start by saying that this is something that Urban Renewal is going to pay for. It's just the process of it is going through the city. So when we're looking at this budget adjustment, just know that there's going to be an offsetting revenue from a payment or reimbursement through Urban Renewal. So we anticipate that it's going to cost us $1 million to take care of the abatement and to tear down that building over there, the school district building that we were talking about. And so we feel like that $700,000 of it's going to come through in this fiscal year, and then it will be followed up by another $300,000 in 27. So, but we do need a budget adjustment if we are going to process this through the city. We need a budget adjustment to show that we are incurring this expense. So.
That's what
Okay,
this is.
is there any questions about that?
So,
Yes.
is this just for the old junior high, or is it also for the old seminary building for the demolition?
It would be for both,
Okay.
yeah.
Because I know there at the Founders Fair, there was a lot of people who were interested in not seeing that torn down. And so I don't know if there's something that we can discuss about that, if there's like options of, I don't know. I know I've got a lot of people talking to me about it and wanting to know if there's some way that we can save the building. Not that the city has to own it even, but just that there's a way to save it without demolishing it, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I mean, there's been that discussion for a while, and, you know, we've offered, I don't know, I honestly don't know that there's a way around it, but we're certainly still open to discussion for a short period of time until the actual.
So if
demolition.
people had ideas of how that could be handled, do they take it to urban renewal, or who do they go to with that?
That would be a good place to go to. I know that they've reached out to me as the urban renewal side. They have some other ideas that they were going to email me about, so I'm still kind of in the dark of what they're thinking
Okay.
right now currently, but
Yeah, since
yeah, I
they
do
will
know
be
that
the
there's some
owner of the
interest.
Property, that would probably be the most
Okay.
apropos way to go.
All right.
there's another, I mean, we've told them that if they're able to move it, that we would certainly be amenable towards that. I realize that that's a pretty expensive proposition. And so, but it's, yeah.
Okay.
We've had the Historical Society come in and do presentations. There's a lot of people interested.
I think it was the Preservation Commission.
Yeah, and keeping it the issue. There's lots of issues, by the way. Just to make that building so that it would be safe, so you can actually use it. You know, you're probably talking anywhere from $1 to $2 million just to get it so that it's usable. If you were to move it, again, you're talking about a building that it can't just be lifted and moved. It has to be taken apart. Again, you're talking anywhere from $1 million to a couple $1 million to move that, just to get it moved onto another. So even though people are interested and they would like to save it, however, what I wanted to mention was just that urban renewal is looking at it from the perspective of there's an RFP already out there, hoping that somebody will look at this property and say, we want to build, we want to be there, and that they can incorporate that building in there. So since it doesn't close until the 30th, right, April 30th, is that when it closes?
It actually closes on May 4th.
Okay,
the
May
RFP.
4th, and then and then we've got asbestos removal, and then there's all these things going on.
Right.
That keeps buying us a little bit of time, right? Hoping that we might be able to get a bidder.
When are we looking at demolition? Is that
Yeah.
July still, or is it?
Demolition, July would be a really aggressive estimate. It could be a couple months after that. Part of it depends on how long that asbestos abatement takes. And sorry, I realized that I probably just misinterpreted what you said. So we do actually close with the school district on the building on the 30th, like you said. The RFP, that will close on the May 4th. So, and I was going to just follow up to say, as we have tested for asbestos, there is a lot in the seminary building, and so there is that element as well.
All right.
So, having said that, I think discussion is fine. I think in those discussions, I want to be realistic. I kind of look at everything together, but maybe there will be a solution that's presented that would work. And so
I agree with that. I agree that the city cannot take on another building. I totally agree with that. Our budget, we can't do that. It'd just be a real shame to see that building go, because that's a very unique architecture and the history there, and its original town site, and it was built, like the land was donated by she was like one of the last survivors of the Mount Martin handcart company. So there's all this history that's tied with it. So I wouldn't be doing my due diligence as a historian to not try and say something. So.
totally understand. Totally
I
understand.
appreciate that, actually. That's interesting to know, because there's a lot of those things I think that most people don't realize, but, you know, it's kind of important things too, so. Okay, yes? No, go ahead.
Mayor,
Colin.
I do know there was a lot of discussion back when the school district was trying to figure out what to do with that building. We maybe could pull up their notes from their meetings and stuff, but I know there was a lot of discussion back when they were trying to figure out the whole thing with that building too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's maybe not a bad idea, Colin, thank you. Councilmember Johnson?
I'm just totally curious why the money comes in two separate reimbursements, like one this fiscal year and one next fiscal year.
We're showing it as the, kind of goes with each of the year's expenses is essentially why we've got it that way. But, I mean, we could reimburse the whole thing sometime in November but just the way that we're segmenting it out, we've got and this is all guesswork at this point as far as what the distribution is going to be, that 700 versus the 300. But as Matt was looking at that, that's kind of what he felt like would be the most realistic view.
Some of it will happen later on. Okay.
Yeah, and that's why when I say that the idea that we'll be moving forward with the actual demolition by July, I don't think so. Matt doesn't think so.
Which is
and that's
the
where
start of our fiscal year, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the timing of it feels more like it's going to be, you know, into September and then October. Hence the reason why we've got that split, that 700 versus the 300. So,
yeah. Okay. Any other questions from anyone? Okay, then if not, I would entertain a motion to approve this budget adjustment for the Urban Renewal School District property, asbestos removal and demolition. Is there such a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the budget adjustment for the Urban Renewal School District property, asbestos removal and demolition.
All right, thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Second it, Councilmember Johnson. All right, seconded.
Tejan.
Oh, Tejan. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. All right. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right. That motion passes. We will go ahead and move forward with that budget adjustment. All right. Thank you, Scott. We appreciate you filling in for Matt and for that information. All right. At this time, let's go with item number B, which is our airport relocation consultant, Mr. Craig Cobia. He's going to talk to us about the approval of land procurement agreement for the airport relocation.
Thank you. First of all, happy to be here. I've already given a presentation to the county commissioners, and there was a slight modification of the contract. We're going to be sending it back to better align with FAA's request. I'll describe that. But that updated contract has been presented to you. So it's for an option agreement to purchase the land for the airport. Before going into that, like I did for the commissioners, I thought I'd give you a little bit of history, how I became involved. When President Kim Clark came to town, one of the first meetings in the Manwaring Center, he said that he felt strongly there was a need to have an airport to enable the landing and takeoff of small corporate jets. And I listened. I didn't know much about any of that, aviation or airports, but I became interested and I volunteered to serve on the airport board. And so after about a year or so, they appointed me, and I've been serving since. And I'm now the vice chairman. I kind of doing double duty, but David Taylor has put a lot of work into this and provided a lot of expertise. And I just wanted to express gratitude to everybody that has gotten us to this point. The city staff, city attorney, city council, the mayor, the county commissioners, a lot of people, the BLM, the FAA, and a lot of support, a lot of moving parts. So in December, formally I started helping with this project, and I quickly realized that it's more complex and involved than I had imagined, but it's very, very interesting. Just a lot of moving parts. And so one of the things that we did first of all was to identify priorities based upon what David Taylor and Keith Davidson had recommended. And those priorities are listed here and they're in your packet. I'll just go through them quickly. Maintain a consistent line of communication to engineers and FAA through the approval process. And I reported on that. These were notes given in my remarks in the March airport board meeting. A lot of calls, visits with our Ardura, which they're doing a phenomenal job. They're an engineering firm. And just kind of doing round robin, visiting local officials, elected officials here in this area. Interface between the owners, the city and the county elected officials that can assist in the land exchange and environmental approval. That's been the biggest challenge to this point, is getting us to the point where we have the contract, and we have the contract here before you today. But it wasn't always like that. We were stuck, and we were able to move beyond some of the challenges and hurdles we experienced through the help of many, many people. And I'm happy to say that. One of the first meetings that we had was, and I brought together the FAA, the BLM, all stakeholders, elected official, mayor was there, county commission was there, to ask ourselves, what will this require? It's a big deal, you know. We were originally talking about $40 million project, might be $100 million now. We're going to get an actual price. The match, you know, the FAA is going to provide 90%, state 5%, 4%, and then the city and the county is going to be splitting the difference. So it's a big, big commitment. What will that bring to the community? What economic development? Sure, we had 6 letters from individuals who had corporate jets said, we support this. That was very helpful. But nevertheless, so we had the meeting, and one of the fascinating things that I noticed is everybody felt safe enough to say, I don't know. We've never done this before. That was very, very encouraging. The biggest goal that we had coming out of that meeting was to establish a memorandum of understanding. And Ardura, our engineering firm guiding this process, is going to pull that together. Simply stated, a memorandum of understanding is each stakeholder will say, this is what we will do, this is when we will do it, because we didn't know that to that point. And they're still discovering, but yet they're communicating. So Denver, the Denver ADO has done an agency-to-agency transfer, FAA to BLM, which supposedly will speed up the process. We will still become the deed owners, my understanding, as the sponsors, the city and the county, but it's going to facilitate and streamline the process of transmitting the property. So the Helena ADO, which we're under, has never done this, but Denver has done it 4 times. And so there's communication that's been going on. That's probably the biggest thing that I'm encouraged about is I didn't know a lot. I didn't know what questions to ask. However, when I learned that there was a need for this, I thought, I'm going to start researching, and I did. And I contacted the Rock Springs manager, airport manager, at the encouragement of the governor's aide. He's like, wow, he knows what he's doing. And so I said, I'm going to drive there. David Taylor flew us both there. We recorded his comments. We brought it back. I've got a couple of interns helping me. So we have that information. I just got back yesterday from a conference, an aviation conference, airport managers conference in Boise. Small airports, large airports, gathering together, sharing ideas. It's a cooperative environment. We went to Nebraska. They have a robust program. They're organized, and they're doing some good things. And so I believe strongly, let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's learn from those who have plowed this ground. I spoke directly with the only 2 airport managers that I knew actually facilitated a relocation. Williston, North Dakota, and St. George. And you may have seen the headlines, but St. George had challenges. Williston, it was a big project. But they were so kind and gracious. Again, I recorded their comments, and I've got this on file as we're trying to learn the different things that we need to do. So, seek funding, network, already talked about that. Design a plan to enable a smooth transition to a new airport. Rent factor-based fee system. if the city and the county are going to be putting in so much money, I feel it's my responsibility to somehow find a way that financially the city and the county can benefit. How? Maybe fuel. We have already an FBO. But anyway, so those questions are still being discussed and evaluated, but I'm very, very interested in all of this. So we get down to the point where what's the next step? Well, first of all, I've included the minutes from that meeting. You know, we had BLM, as I mentioned, different stakeholders, and that, I just breathed a sigh of relief after we had that meeting, because then we knew that we don't know, but yet everybody agreed upon that, and now we can move forward and identify and actually come to learn. So the biggest accomplishment to date is this contract, and shout out to Ardura and Vince. He might be on the call with us. We can go through this quickly. Basically, it's the opportunity to have an option to purchase the 1,204 acres. And the FAA, before they're going to put more money into environmental studies and fund other things, they require that we have this locked down very tight, because the last thing we want is 3 years into the process, the buyers say, you know, I've changed my mind, the grazing rights really aren't exactly what I was hoping. Well, we've tried to identify all of those questions up front by asking as many questions as we could, and then just recently, as mentioned, Spencer was very kind and adjusted, because to help us better meet the FAA's requirement as part of it. So I don't know if we need to go through every bit of it, but it's there for your review. Does anybody have any questions?
I know this was in your packet. Did anyone have any chance to read through it and have any questions about it? Or here's a chance. You have some questions?
Oh, I had a question going back to what you said before. Thank you so much for all that information. In that stakeholder meeting, did you say, was there a council member there?
I believe so. I can go back to the minutes.
Let's see, the airport board. Is that Colin?
Colin. If not, he was in the airport board meeting that I reported at.
I just hope we have a council member there as a stakeholder in meetings.
I was there at the airport board meeting, but I was not there at when they all met. The mayor, I believe, was there on that one.
Yes, he was. And we provided at the airport board meeting, at which Colin did attend, I provided the notes, and I went into a little more detail than I provided you for their benefit. Thank you for that question. Any other questions? Yes, please.
I'm so sorry. I have one more question.
Yeah, it's
yeah. I'm so thankful for this information. I feel like I've been kind of lacking on hearing more about the airport since I'm not on that oversight committee. So do we have, like, Scott, could you remind me, do we have, how much have we been saving for this? This doesn't have to do with the contract. I'm just curious.
Let's see, for the airport, we've been putting away, I'm trying to remember, 400,000 a year, I think, isn't it?
I can go ahead. I can talk to it generally, then you can talk to it specifically.
Okay.
So in 2020, there was a study done, and the estimated cost of the airport at that time was $40 million. And recently, a number has been floated. It's going to be $100 million. I mean, a lot of things have changed since 2020. Of course, we all know that. And so, but recently, the city and the county, and they've agreed on a 50-50 share, did have the full amount set aside for the $40 million, and it's earning interest. So
we did have we had 20 million, you're saying?
It's like 3%,
we only have
2.5 million each, I think.
So, and I'm showing in our reserve.
Because it's our match. 90% is FAA, maybe 4% state, and then between 4 and 6% split between city and county is kind of the rough numbers.
Yeah, it's a huge number, but luckily our percentage is quite small.
But then if it was 100 million, then we need to pay 10% of that between the city and the county?
We need to pay,
No, not
What
10.
percent?
the FAA
Did you
is
say?
90%.
FAA is 90.
Uh-huh,
then
and
the
what are
The
we-
state
is
weighs in at an amount, though I'm
And
not
then
certain.
7% or something, isn't it?
That we split?
They're 4 to 6% usually the
There
state.
you go.
Okay.
Then we are, they're 4 to 5%
We pick up the rest.
with the county.
Split that between city and
Yeah.
county, that 4 to 5%.
That's split in half, that remaining amount. Thank you for that
Cute,
question.
yeah, I just wanted to
Yeah. So
go
it'd be
through my mind all
anywhere
of
from
that.
probably
Yes.
4 to 6%, and then we split that in
Okay.
half. So So it's
That's unachievable.
I'm really hoping they're overestimating on that cost, but
So am I.
you never know how things
Yeah.
go, these days.
I've asked, that's one of the action items that I've asked Ardura to come back on as a more precise estimate. And then the other thing that I've done, they've got action items for existing airport projects as well as the new airport relocation. So we're kind of managing both of those. But additionally, I've got a timeline, they've got a timeline. I'm very, very interested in identifying and having a Gantt chart. I'm using AI, I've used AI in the past a lot, and I'm going to be using it again to identify how it all stacks up. If one thing slips, what else slips? So that's just for my personal benefit is managing this project.
Okay. All right. Okay. Is there any further questions or comments from anyone? Okay. All right. Then if there are none, thank you, Craig. I appreciate that. What we need to do is, and I'm not, if everybody understands this property that we're looking at, that we're getting this option on, is what the FAA, or actually it's a BLM, right, that requires some replacement property for the property that the airport's going to take up.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you
so-
for describing that. I did not describe that. There's property that we're hoping to purchase.
Yeah.
And we've done research. If people ask you, why didn't you build it here or there? Trust me, we went through the entire research process, including, can we keep it where it's at? The answer to that is no. We're out of compliance width-wise, and small corporate jets cannot take off because it's too short, and the Army Corps of Engineers were not interested in moving the river or bridging the river. So, but back to that, the BLM has, they have sage grouse in the area and habitat, and they want to make whole that. And so we've identified a willing seller of similar property that we're hoping is even better habitat than where the airport is going to be located. So that would encourage BLM to say, okay, this is fair, but it's a little more than fair. And so we're hoping that we will be able to get access to this property. It's kind of an exchange. It's a land exchange is what this is.
Yeah. Kind of one of those crazy federal government requirements.
Yep.
Because I think the sage-grouse will go where they want to go, but it's just kind of the way it is.
You can just send him a letter.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, so we do have this contract would give us the option to be able to purchase this, which is one of the steps that we have to nail down in order to keep moving forward with the airport relocation project. So, if there are any questions or comments, I would entertain a motion that we move ahead with this. Yes, Colin, did you have a comment?
Yes, Mayor, I just want to first thank Craig for the amount of work he's done just the last few months, sitting on this board for almost 4.5 years now. It was stuck in the mud. We weren't moving it at all. In the last 3 months, it's been tremendous jumps and leaps just to get us moving and going. And he's done a lot of work and to facilitate that and to get us moving. So I just want to thank him. And like I say, I'll make that motion if no one else want to comment, and make that motion to continue to make this agreement and move forward with this.
All right. Thank you, Colin. We appreciate that. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Second by Councilmember Riggins. Any further comments or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. We will go ahead with that item and see if we can keep that moving. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your information and your work on that. Keep the ball rolling, as we say. All right. Item number 7, as Mayor's report and business, I've got several items, but the first one we have is item number A, which is to ratify Rick Robinson as a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission. I trust that you all were able to receive my email and read it, and I know there were some concerns, which I appreciate, and hopefully that helped you to understand where we're at with the members of the planning and zoning that are coming off or going off and coming on. And we've got several, like I said, we've got 3 actually here in just the next couple of months that we're gonna need to replace, as well as another one in September. So if you've got people that you'd like us to entertain, I know there's been a few that have been suggested and some that have been interested and some that haven't. But if you've got other suggestions, just submit them to us and we'll visit with them and, see if any of them are interested in serving. It's, planning and zoning is a lot bigger time commitment than a lot of other commissions and committees that we have, and so sometimes it's a little harder to get folks that are willing to do that. But if you've got people that you think would be interested, let me know and we'll visit with them. So
he's so well connected to the city and what's happening. He's real estate. I mean, just a good choice here.
Yeah, I felt like it was a good choice. I mean, Rick has, he's been very involved. Well, as Councilmember Tejan knows, he's involved with the historical business, not historical business, historical buildings. Is it the historical, not the historical buildings, but the Historical Preservation Commission, yeah.
And he's on the Tabernacle Legacy
And on the
Committee.
Tabernacle Legacy Committee too. So whether he'll be able to stay on all those, I don't know. That'll be up to him to decide what kind of time involvement he's got available. But he did express an interest in serving on the Planning and Zoning Commission and helping us move forward as a community. And so at this time, comments, go ahead.
Yeah. So I wanted to say thank you for your email. I thought that was really helpful.
Yeah.
Especially because I didn't realize, I didn't know when we would be picking our next commissioner.
Yeah.
And the first thing I want to say is that I really hope, I'm sure he's going to do a wonderful job. I really hope that some of our ones coming up that are replaced are women, because that's going to leave us with 1 woman out of all those planning and zoning commissioners, and about half the population is female. So I feel like they're extremely underrepresented on that commission. And so that's something that I feel like we can do better as a city of having equal representation, because 1 female commissioner is just, to me, that's inadequate. And so if I had known, I can find women and suggest them. I think we all could. They're out there. We have Tammy Geddes that's on there.
Yep.
And then I feel like I do have to say, because I have been told by so many residents how they perceive having realtors and developers on there. And I know it's fewer now than it's ever been, but I think they see it as those are people who can directly benefit from the ability that they have to recommend changes to the development code, changes to the zoning. And so I know other people can benefit indirectly too. So I'm not saying that no one can benefit, but when that is your livelihood and you have the ability to alter the the policies that we have, I think for some residents that's just too much. So I really hope we can broaden the pool and have more that are not developers, not realtors. Like if I had it my way, I would say, let's have no realtors on there so that we don't have anyone who benefits from having new development made. So I just hope moving forward, those are the concerns I've been given. I'm very concerned about having more women on there so that we have equal representation. So I'm happy to get female names to you.
Okay.
Do you know what percentage of the members right now are in real estate? Do you know?
Well, there's right now there is 1 real estate agent, which is Sally Smith. She's retired, but She was a real estate agent, and she's the one.
Two, Mayor. Aaron is also a real estate.
Oh, Aaron.
And
Well,
two developers,
Yeah,
right?
he's a developer and
Two
real-
developers, right?
and two
Yeah,
developers.
McKay.
But Aaron's a developer, realtor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's both. McKay
Francis.
Franson is a developer. He was a county appointee, but yeah, he's a developer too. So basically, you've got three right now, two of which will both be going off in June and July.
Yeah, so I
We
think
have-
it's
so
we
I
have-
one.
One woman on the board right now, right?
Two.
We had two.
Sally.
But Sally this is to replace Sally,
Yeah.
so there'll be one woman.
No, this
No,
isn't to replace
this is
Sally,
to
but it is to replace
replace
Vanessa.
Oh,
who
Vanessa,
is
sorry,
also-
I got my women mixed up. Yeah, it's to replace one of the women.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and she wasn't due to go off yet, but she resigned because she's got some conflicts and stuff. So, honestly, I think it is a little harder for women to be on planning and zoning just because they've got so many things going on with their families and stuff in the evenings. But that doesn't mean it's. I mean, you guys are here, so.
I feel like I don't like that statement. I'm sorry. I think it's a little discriminatory towards women. They can do things even if they have families.
Well, I know, but I just, from some of them that I've visited with, it's a little more of a struggle for them to get here on a regular basis, but, we're happy to invite as many of them as we can, and if they can do it, great. We had another lady on there, actually a couple years ago, and she became expecting, and so she had to resign too, so that was unfortunate because she was really good, so. Anyway, okay, anyway, at this point in time, then I would entertain a motion to ratify Rick Robinson as a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Is there such a motion?
I'll make the motion that we ratify Rick Robinson as a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Reeser. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we will go ahead and continue that, consider that appointment ratified, and we'll let him know about that. Okay, thank you. Item number 2, I just have, just wanted to report to you on, if you remember a couple meetings ago when former Planning and Zoning Commissioner Vince Haley came, or just, he came as Citizen Haley, and he was asking about several things. One of them was the signs, that have gotten old and kind of dilapidated. So just wanted to report to you that we have taken down a lot of those signs, and Farron, who works here, has got an RFP out for some new signs to be put up. Unfortunately, they are quite expensive. That's one of the reasons why the old ones have been up so long, is because they're expensive to replace. But we've got an RFP out to replace. We actually went through all of the signs and decided which ones we really needed or which ones we felt like were more important, and we actually reduced the number that we will be replacing just because they are very expensive. And so we'll come back to you with that when we find out how much it's going to be for those. So item number 3 is just wanted to make you aware. I just saw on the East Idaho News today that the Idaho Department of Water Resources has declared a drought emergency for all Idaho counties, and we joined. Keith and I have been going to a lot of water meetings the last few years, and we joined as a member of it's a city coalition of water users that helps us to be able to kind of solidify our water rights and make sure we've got the water that we need for the future. But it's still, our allocation from our pumps and things could still be limited if we got into a really bad water situation. So we need to just be aware of that and not waste water. I would encourage, and I wrote in my mayor's message last time, encouraging people to, when you turn your sprinkler systems on, don't just leave them on and just kind of let them run every day if that's how you had it programmed, or if you're watering the lawn with a hose, just don't let it run forever. Let's be aware of the water we're using. Most of the time in the spring, honestly, people overwater their lawns anyway. You don't really need to water even every other day. Usually once a week is fine this time of the year, and then as it gets warmer, you can increase that. But I usually found if I soaked my lawn really good when I first started it up about this time, I could usually shut off the controller, and I wouldn't need to water it again until almost Memorial Day. So usually it depends on how much rain we get and things like that. But
Is that something we need to alert our residents to, that they need to?
yeah, and I did that in that last mayor's
Do we need
message
to
in
send
the
out like
letter.
an app notification or anything like that, just to, because I don't know if a lot of people read the newsletter. I've had people ask me about the sprinklers already.
Yeah, no, I actually have a lot of people that say they read the newsletter, but there's a lot that don't, I'm sure, too. So, yeah, that is something that I am planning on having Sarah do, like some social media, excuse me, social media posts and things like that, just to help people be more aware of that, because I think that's important. Once in a while, I see, as I'm driving into town, I see a lot of sprinklers just running every morning, which at this time of the year is really unnecessary. So we will make people more aware of that. Just for your information, on the chart that they send out, which goes from 0, which is abnormally dry, to D4, which is exceptional drought. Our area right here is a D2, which is recognized as severe drought. So it could be worse. There are other parts of the state that are in 3 and 4, but a lot of the state is in D2, which is severe drought. So it's just something we need to be aware of and not be wasteful. So item number 4, of course, you're aware the legislative session is over. I attended today a chamber forum that had the legislators reporting, our local legislators reporting on things that happened over there. And so now it's up to us to kind of assess the damages and move forward in the best way that we can. So we'll be doing some of that kind of thing here in the months to come. Last thing, I think I've mentioned to you before, but especially for those of you who are new, we have, I just got this in the mail today, so I wanted to just mention it, but we're a member of the Eastern Idaho Partnership, which is a conglomeration of, you can see here, we've got cities and counties on this list that are a couple of pages that we all contribute to a person, a lady attorney, she's designated as the Special Assistant United States Attorney, or we call it SAUSA is the acronym for that. And right now we are a member of this association, and we put in with our increasing population. That's how they assess how much we each put in. Our assessment is $2,628, and we pay this lady. Her name is Zoe Lagis. We pay her $100,000 a year. $70,000 of that comes from the Idaho Department of Corrections, and the remaining $30,000 is divided up from this Eastern Idaho Partnership. That's why our amount is relatively small. But she basically focuses on drugs and firearms offenses, and the goal of that is to get those criminals charged and move them into the federal system for 2 reasons. One, if we move them into the federal system instead of putting them in a state penitentiary, it costs the state less money. So that's why the Department of Corrections contributes to it, because it helps save them money. But it also helps by getting them into a federal prison somewhere in Kansas or further away. It kind of helps take them out of their drug ring. It makes it so that they can't communicate with their people as easily and keep running their drug rings from inside the prisons, which always amazes me that they can do that, but somehow they do. So anyway, that just wanted to let you know that we are participating in that, and she does a report every year that tells how many criminal convictions they've gotten and how many they've put into the federal system. And luckily, Madison County typically doesn't have a lot of the convictions that she does, which is, even though we're paying for it, we're paying to be part of the team. We don't have as much crime that she, gun and drug crime here as they do, say, in Bannock County or Bonneville County or some of those larger areas. So Bannock County especially is pretty bad because it's, with the highways intersecting right there, the freeways, that just tends to be a place where a lot of drug opportunity happens down right there in that area. So I guess we can be thankful that we're not maybe at a major crossroads there where a lot of that kind of thing happens. So that's a good thing. So anyway, that's just wanted you to be aware that we are a member of that, and hopefully that helps keep some of the crime out of our area. All right, item number 8A on the agenda is a planning and zoning recommendation to approve a plat extension for Teton View Estates plat located at 1114 North Highway. And Mr. Parkinson, tell us about this item.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, council members. The property is the old Teton View Drive-In. It has been platted and ready. You guys have approved it. It has not been recorded. They were working through some financial challenges, and they have got it just about resolved, but their time has run out. So they would like just enough extension so that they are still covered on this plat being approved, so that they can then move forward this summer with construction. So they are requesting from you an extension of 6 months of timeline to record that plat.
Okay. Any questions about this item from anyone?
Alan,
Yes, go ahead, Colin.
is this the second extension they have had?
Yes, it is. This
That's
is
what I
their
thought.
second time.
Okay.
Are they confident that they're going to be able to move forward this summer?
Yeah, they're talking of being able to move dirt within a month.
Okay.
Within the month.
Okay, well, that's good. Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to move ahead with this action item. Is there such a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the plat extension for the Teton View Estate plat.
Okay.
For a period of 6 months, is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, there's a motion on the table. Is there a second to that motion?
Well, second.
Second by Councilmember Colin Erickson. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion passes. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that, Alan. All right, item number 9. We have no second readings or third readings on the agenda tonight. So that just leaves the consent calendar, which is the minutes from the April 1st, 2026 meeting, and the approval of the payment of City of Rexburg bills. Is there any questions or comments?
I have just a
Yes.
comment. With the work meeting, at the very end, it talks about how Alan was saying that the council and everybody should be looking at their email or email suggestions. Colin Erickson asked that we actually hold a couple more work meetings, and that wasn't recorded in there. So I don't know if you heard that part, but he wanted that. Is that right, Colin?
Yes, that's the only way. There's no way to do it on emails on that discussion. That we got to get together and discuss that together. Emails, we lose too much communication.
It wasn't in the minutes, but I discussed it with City Clerk Lovejoy.
Okay, all right, thank you. Just wanted to clear up that.
Was this the one that we went through in the work meeting?
Yeah,
Yeah, we are planning on setting up another
okay.
work meeting.
It just made it sound like at the end that we were all gonna email you. so-
It was an option, but we decided that's not the right way to go.
Okay, just wanted to clear that up in the minutes for anybody.
Okay, thank you. We will add that to the minutes. Make an amendment there. All right, any other items from the bills or anything like that? Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar as stated. Is there such a motion?
I'll make that motion to approve the consent calendar and pay our bills.
All right, motion made by Councilmember Colin Erickson. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilmember Dave Reeser. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we will enter the minutes as corrected and pay the bills. Let's see if there are no other things to be brought forward, then, or any announcements or anything. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for being here, everyone. We appreciate your attendance.
Mayor, who seconded that?
Councilmember Reeser. Yeah. Okay, all right, thanks, everybody. Let's see, I'm gonna leave this pen here just so we got an extra.